There's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to words of Professor Buitron. Come train at the best kept secret of Laredo. Buitron Academy, 956-401-4868. Savate.biz.
I hope everybody's doing well. We're going to have a great segment today. We're just days before Christmas. And the question that they asked me is, who is Professor Big Blue? Big Blue's like my brother, okay? He's a dear friend of mine. And in Savate, you know, the professors are the ones that basically teach, and they're heads of clubs and areas and so on and so forth. And there's a brigade system within Savate, and in books and says as well. But in modern days, you know, a lot of the professors are remembered because of what they used to do. Some of them are very folkloric, and my brother Big Blue, Professor Big Blue, his real name is Germe. Professor Germe, you know, Big Blue, he's very folkloric in that route. And he's been around for a very long time. Started out in books and says, started out with Jean-Philippe, that went with Bob Alex. Those were his professors in the past. Jean-Philippe Tortet was another professor that he had. When he moved back to Paris, he started studying with the late Christian Guillaume. And then later on, he had his own club. He is one of the ones that is very highly involved in Cannes. You know, learned Cannes from Jean-Paul Viviani and others, and later on did Panache with Roger Lafont, as well as Cannes with Roger Lafont. And that's my trajectory of what he's done in Savate as learning-wise and the pedagogies, right? But you know, Professor Germe, or Professor Big Blue, whichever way you want to call him, he was at one particular time the oldest fighter in the ring. You know, he was a fighter that won some, lost some. He was a fighter that was always there. He was a hard fighter, but he was one that was not gonna quit. You know, and that's somebody that finally they just told him, you know, you're too old to continue being in the ring at this time, especially for this, and he basically walked away. He fought many of the greats. He was very energetic in his fighting. You know, he was kind of like Macho Camacho of Boxe Française, you know, with coming in there with the tenues, the uniforms, entregas a little bit different than the norm, colorful. It was good to watch. You know, I saw some of his fights. But his presence in Savate was that he was always helping everybody. He had his own club. You know, he's always amicable with our friends here. He was always at ISPTT, where he used to frequent. Very good friends with Michel Gilbert, like brothers with Professor Jean-Paul Viviani. Of course, he's like a brother to me, like an older brother. And he's always done all the disciplines. You know, he learns baton, one of the best teachers of baton that I've ever seen. He's one very fluid with the motions in that. He's not, you know, he's a very capable individual. Seen him throw down in the street once or twice. He's very, how can I say, his size, his presence, you know, the nickname Big Blue was that he was also an actor, and he did a lot of shows, and there was a movie that came out what was called The Grand Blue, or The Big Blue, and that's where he got the name. It was about underwater diving, those divers that go down there for the record without aqualung. And he's very, very talented in that area. You know, he was also a professor of swimming for Paris. And there's just a lot of thing with Professor Big Blue whether he was present in a fight, if he was present in a workshop, he was present in a seminar, was present in class, or if he was hanging around the school, there was always help around. He's one of the professors that was liked by many, and he's also a professor that was welcome anywhere he went. You know, a lot of people would like for him to come in and give class, help out, and that's the type of individual that he was. And like I said, there's professors that have their own club, and there's a brigade system, and Professor Andre did that. But Professor Germe basically was encompassed with a whole crew, because he had trained with so many different individuals that no matter where he went, in the clubs or the fights or Lacan matches, he was always an aid, a help. He was always a presence, and that's what really, that type of individual he was. What things do I remember about him? He had a tremendous lateral revert that you can barely get into, but you had to get inside, which you know, once you get his distance, it was a different story, because you're talking about a person that's 6'7", 6'8", you know, so he's a tall individual, and he's a great saboteur in that, you know, because his distance, his presence, the way he walked, the way he carried himself, is a different entity. You know, saboteurs in the old days, they were used for many vocations, like Camperucci used to say. And one of the vocations was being a bodyguard. One of the reasons was being a protector. One of the reasons was being a doorman. One of the reasons was being a policeman. That was what the saboteurs were. They protected people. They went to the club, everybody was friends, but guess what? On your regular day, you were protecting a doctor, his family, politician, what have you. And that's the type of presence that the Professor Germe, or Big Blue, brought into it. I learned a lot from Big Blue, especially Baton, because we're always around together. You know, we're always at ISPTT. Hey, pick up some gloves, let's go in the ring. Let's get your baton, get your gun, let's start working out. That was the type of individual, the influence that we had, you know. I remember one time, and this was, he rode a motorcycle, and they said, Paul, you have to be on this other side of town because you're at that event, you're in the wrong place. And he goes, oh, I'll take him. So I jumped on the motorcycle in the back, and I'm riding behind him, and you know, you're going between the cars, and all of a sudden I hit a mirror of a car that passed by with my knee. Man, by the time I ended up at the place, I could barely walk ice. I could barely even teach what I was doing. And he started laughing. He goes, no, you know, we're here, we'll help you. But it was just the biggest thing that happened. It was just funny, you know, the things that we do. But other than that, you know, he's a great individual. He's one that has come to the United States many times, helped out many other groups. He's one that is very much sought after. I really wish, I know that he goes back and forth to Brazil. I really wish he could start something in the Rio area, because he's a phenomenal professor, and his knowledge should not be wasted. But other than that, we'll continue going forward. There's more videos. I continue asking questions. You know, I know the inner circle, the members in the inner circle, there's a couple of spaces left. And that space is just for those that are going to be instructors and teachers. The crew, join that. Join if you want to learn more about classes, learn more about combinations, more about kicking, more about the sets of Dancer Savate, and many other videos are going to be posted shortly. And I've been posted there, you know, because we have way too much contact. You know, is in Buy Me a Coffee at Buitron Academy, you know. Buitron Academy at buymeacoffee.com. And join in there, look around. There's some great interviews. There's some excellent resources there for those that really want to learn. Other than that, we got a couple of more projects coming up. We have the book, Walk Like a Band Dog and Not a Shih Tzu, coming. It's supposed to already be coming here because we have people that are wanting it, as well as a book of Roots in the Lone Star, which should be here anytime. Because we ordered some back in August, so they should be here. But with everything with COVID and everything going through, shipping, people closing and all that stuff, so we'll get back in line. Until next time, you all stay safe. Have a Merry Christmas. And call your friends, because some of these friends that you haven't seen in a long time, just call them up, see how they're doing. Each one of us tends to go out amongst our lives, travel that path, and forget about those that influenced us when we were growing. Until next time, much peace.